What's going on, you guys? It is Isaac. Welcome back to another video. I know I need to shave really badly. So today we are going to be discussing if you should microdose acid versus microdosing shrooms. Now, let's get straight into this. If you guys are wondering what a microdose is, if you're watching this, I imagine you already know, but I'm going to tell y'all real quick. So skip like 20 seconds ahead if you don't want to hear it. A microdose is basically where you take such a tiny dose of a psychedelic that you don't really feel the psychedelic effects, or a high, you take like 1/20th of a tab of acid, 1/10 of a gram of shrooms, maybe a little more than that, but you get the gist. You take such a small dosage, you do not trip, but you do feel some benefits. So for me, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of acid versus shrooms, and I'm going to pick one that I enjoy more. So this could vary from person to person. You guys may disagree. If you microdose, let me know what you guys prefer in the comment section down below, acid or shrooms. Now let's get into my personal critiques of which one I personally prefer. So from my personal experiences, I can tell you that shrooms does not last as long as an acid microdose. So say a shroom microdose lasts from 6 to 8 hours, an acid one for me lasts from 8 to 12 hours. So I would actually say the acid, that's a plus for the acid, because I like it lasting longer, because sometimes I'm midway through work and I can feel the microdose for the mushrooms wearing off or something like that. And then another thing is consumption. Which one is easier to consume, mushrooms or acid? So for the mushroom part, it isn't that hard because you're not eating that much at a time, and you could also break it up, chop it up, or like into a powder and put it in a pill and take that. But my suggestion to you would to just be chew it up into a fine type paste and swallow it. It isn't that good, but it honestly isn't that gross. You're eating such a little amount of mushrooms that it's not nasty or anything. But it isn't as easy as just popping a little 1/20th of a tab on your tongue or under your tongue and just letting it sit and swallowing it about after like 15 or 20 minutes. So I would say taking acid is easier, but the mushroom part isn't hard at all because it is only like 0.3 grams, even less than that. I wouldn't even say take 0.3 grams for a microdose. But the next thing I'm going to get into is for all my cannabis smokers out there. This is very important for y'all. So smoking on a microdose of mushrooms and smoking on a microdose of acid. Smoking on a microdose of acid to me is much more strong. Now, if you smoke on a microdose of either shrooms or acid, you are more than likely going to boost your high or your trip. Now, I'm not going to say you're going to full-blown start tripping out, but it is a possibility if you smoke a lot. So say you're on a microdose of shrooms, you smoke a blunt, you might start feeling the shrooms more. But personally for me, if I smoke a blunt on a microdose of acid or something, unless it's starting to wear off, I will begin to start tripping a little bit. So that is a very big warning to you guys. If you smoke on a microdose of acid, you might begin to start tripping. Now on shrooms, it's also there, it intensifies it, but it is not as at the same level as acid when you take acid and smoke. So if you do microdose acid or shrooms, but especially acid, be very careful to smoke weed. Skip on it, wait till later that night when the microdose wears off, wait a couple hours, or just have nothing better to do, sit at home and see what happens after you smoke. But be careful. I just want to say this to everybody. Don't do microdosing without research. This isn't some just proven like, oh, this will cure all my issues. But I can tell you from both the mushrooms and the the mushrooms and the acid side, they both help with energy. They both help with getting done with work, like keeping focus on one thing. It helps your attention span just focus down on one thing at a time. It just really helps with getting through work, like I said, motivation. But to me personally, I would say the acid does have more of an energy effect, a more of an uplifting, more energized, more motivated. Now shrooms kind of has it similarly, but I would say acid has it in a stronger way. I would say if you're going to start off microdosing, start off with mushrooms, go into acid, because I would say personally acid is more of a stronger microdose, but it isn't tripping or anything like that at all. It's just stronger energy, stronger sense of urgency to do work, etc. And yeah, that's basically all the pros and cons I have. is acid affects weed more. Acid's easier to take. Acid does feel stronger, but shrooms is more of like, oh, I'm a beginner at the microdosing, let me do a little shrooms. And I want to remind you guys, do your research, do proper dosages. I wouldn't say microdose for the first time ever and go off to fucking work. Do it on your own time. See if it works for you. See if you like it. And yeah, just be safe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.